Mommy, do you want to know a secret? I have a sister no one knows about. I was 3 years old, sitting in a shopping cart, mesmerized by my reflection in a mall mirror. What I didn't know was that my innocent little game was about to absolutely terrify my mother because the secret I spoke, it wasn't entirely imaginary. Years later, I discovered the truth. And let's just say, my mom had every reason to panic. If you've ever been lied to by someone you trusted and dreamed of watching karma finally catch up, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this one ends with poetic justice that was 18 years in the making. I grew up as an only child, or at least that's what I was always told. My mom was a strong personality, kind who had to be the center of attention. Loving, sure, in her own way. But it always felt like there was a line you didn't cross with her and an unspoken truth hiding behind her smiles. And my dad? Quiet, kind, but distant, especially when it came to family history. Questions about his past were always brushed aside. I just assumed it was normal. That's how families worked, right? But then came that mall trip. I was 3 years old, chubby, curious toddler who had recently developed a total fascination with mirrors. I didn't just see a reflection, I saw another world. Mirror. World, and in that world lived my twin sister. Of course she wasn't real. She was just something I made up in my toddler brain. But I gave her a name. I talked to her. I believed in her. And on that day at the mall, I looked straight into the mirror, turned to my mother, and whispered, "Mommy, do you want to know a secret? I have a sister no one knows about." She stopped the cart. Her whole body went stiff. "What did you say?" she asked. Voice clipped, too sharp for a question that innocent. "I have a secret sister. She lives in the mirror. Her name is, I don't know yet. But she's real, just like me." What followed was a barrage of questions. So fast, so panicked. "Who told you that? Did Daddy say something? Where did you hear that name?" But I never gave a name. I hadn't even made one up. The car ride home was silent. She wouldn't let me talk about my mirror sister anymore. Wouldn't even look at me the same way that day. I forgot about it eventually, mostly. But the memory always stuck in the back of my head as one of those weird things, from childhood until I turned 18. It was my birthday. My dad took me out to lunch, just the two of us. And for the first time in my life, he looked genuinely nervous. Then he dropped a bomb. "There's something I've wanted to tell you for a long time. You have a sister. Her name is April." I felt the air leave the room. He told me everything. April was 12 years old when I was born, his daughter from a previous relationship. He loved her deeply, had been a part of her life, until he married my mom and my mom. She saw April as a threat, a teenage girl, not her child, entering her new perfect family, not on her watch. So she made it clear, either April stayed out of the picture, or the marriage wouldn't work, and Dad, he caved. He didn't fight, didn't stay in April's life. "Just let her go," he cried as he told me this. Said it was the biggest regret of his life. He said he wanted to make it right. I didn't know how to feel. I was furious at him, and even more furious at my mom. She stole a sister from me, someone I could have grown up with, shared secrets, birthdays, fights, and laughter. She erased a whole human being. Just to stay in control, I met April not long after. And she was everything I could have hoped for. Strong, warm, funny, and real. Not a reflection. Not a game, a sister. We cried the first time we met. She told me she always hoped I'd find her one day. She used to imagine me knocking on her door, just like in the movies. And the best part? We became best friends. Instant connection. We texted daily, talked for hours. It's made up for lost time in ways only sisters can. But the more I loved April, the more angry I became at my mother. She had robbed us both. April lost her father. I lost a sister. All because of her insecurity. Her need to be the only woman in the house who mattered. So I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I didn't confront her with some dramatic blow-up. I did something much worse. Years passed. April and I built our bond in secret. At family gatherings, I'd slip away to text her. At holidays, I'd smile politely while knowing the biggest part of my life was being deliberately erased from the table. But then came the perfect moment. It was a casual lunch. Just me and Mom at her kitchen table. We were sipping coffee, talking about the past. Out of nowhere, I smiled and said, "Hey, do you remember when I was little and I told you I had a secret sister in the mirror?" She froze, didn't blink, didn't breathe. I leaned in, still smiling, and said, "You got so scared that day. I never understood why, until I met April." Her cup clinked against the table. Hands trembling, I kept smiling. "She's amazing, by the way. We talk all the time. You would have loved her. But I guess we'll never know, huh?" She tried to speak. Nothing came out. Just shock, then panic, then silence. And that silence. It was delicious. The woman who had spent nearly 2 decades pretending April didn't exist now had to sit in the truth that I found her anyway, that we were closer than ever, that the lie didn't win, and that her little secret didn't stay buried. The best revenge isn't yelling, it's living in full color. When someone tried to erase your world, watching my mom squirm in that moment, knowing that her perfect little story had collapsed, was the sweetest, most poetic justice I could have ever asked for. She didn't scream, didn't argue, just sat there, pale and quiet, and I just sipped my coffee because she didn't deserve a confrontation. She deserved the silence of her own failure. Some secrets are meant to stay hidden. Others, they claw their way back to the surface because truth has a way of shining through, no matter how long it's buried. And when it does, it's not revenge, it's restoration. If this story hit you like it hit me, smash that like button and let me know in the comments what's the biggest secret you ever uncovered in your family. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this where justice doesn't knock, kicks the door down.